We are live?
Don't give it.
Do we have any thumbs up? She's saying don't give it to her.
Don't give it.
She's handing it back off to you.
She can do it. All right.
Listen, it'd be funny to you to say these things. We got thumbs up from the boys.
Hey!
Not So Tender Podcast, episode number 23. We have a very special guest coming back from last season.
Very special.
Dr. Mindy!
Dr. Mindy, one of our favorites. So we're
She
getting
is my
close.
favorite.
I know. We're getting close to the holidays, and I got a message from Kelly today. I'm like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And is Mindy going to make it to the show? And she's like, yeah, I go, what do you? And she gave me some options of what to talk about. And one of them was very serious and dark, and the other one was about sex. So
Always about sex.
always about sex.
Well, no, I decided, and you both
Yeah.
supported it, that I
Well-
was like, 'tis the season. We're going to be proactive. We're going to give tips
On
for
how
the
to-
next couple episodes.
before Christmas.
Yeah, before Christmas. So 'tis the season.
How to get your stocking stuffed.
I have my friend's hoodie on.
I like it. I like it.
I will be wearing
In
Christmas
honor.
gear.
So
Aww.
this is what's funny is before you sent this to me, I already had this pulled up. So the one
Which
on the
one's the
left,
first one?
both. So the one on the left is,
Oh, let's see.
I know,
gotta
right?
scroll
There's a
all the
lot
way.
of things on there. Yeah,
How to explain your fetish to your partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. And the one on the
I
right.
love Mindy.
What's
She's
the
like,
one?
yeah, no, that's a real thing.
I get into super sex educator
All the
mode.
time.
Like, okay, yes, let's talk about it.
Wild sex fetishes you've never heard of.
So that's the one on the right. Yeah. So
I want this one. I'd love to hear about ones I don't know of.
I can't pronounce them.
some of them.
Okay.
So I'll just pivot it back.
Let's go first. How was your week, Kelly?
My week was dynamic. So for those of you who have been listening for the last couple weeks, we're in in-law season, meeting the family season,
Yeah.
make or break season.
The dark. The dark.
We're in the trenches.
Hey, they wanted cuffing season. Here we are.
I know. Some couples are coming out on the other side of it. They're like, oh my gosh, they just met them for Thanksgiving. It went super well. Others are like,
They sucked. They were on their phone the whole time.
yeah. Or like, I had somebody who was so full transparency, they were on a first date that they had like a bailout plan, right? That they were going out with like family or whatever. But the first date was going super well. So they were like, hey, I have to like take off. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. What do you have going on? Like super normal question.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm actually going to my aunt's house. And so that transpired into them inviting them, and they got wasted.
No, they didn't.
Wasted.
Hey, boys, turn off
the
that
person
microphone.
whose family it is, or the other person got wasted?
No.
The new person or the person who's their family?
My client brought their first date, and the first date got wasted.
That's such a no-no.
Mm-hmm.
It is?
It is.
I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, like she's like, there's a lot of gray, right? Like it's a holiday weekend, you're nervous, like there is a lot of wiggle room, but for you
I
to
feel
get like
that's a drinking problem.
trashed, yeah. She was like, red flag,
That's a huge red flag.
huge red flag.
Give me 1 second. Hey, boys. Is that microphone on? I can hear it.
Echo?
I can just hear the echo. It's making me crazy. I already hear voices. I don't need to hear more.
You don't need you need to hear mine.
What
I
do
need to hear-
What do your voices tell you?
Yes. Yes. Lots of yes.
They tell you, yes, go do it.
They're like this. Don't be a sissy. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So they got really drunk, and that was a huge red flag.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, though.
I have 2 people on my caseload that
I
are.
don't know what he means by that.
I like
that,
it
though.
because
Which
you
part?
know. You know right off the rip.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know
Yeah.
my person.
Yeah.
I don't have to
She
wait.
was disappointed because she's been on multiple first dates, and this first date was going well, and so she lowered her boundaries to like allow for something more serious. And like her whole family knew that this was like some rando first date that just like transpired into, but like.
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
So during the holidays, that's what everyone's going to be laughing and talking about.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to have to go to Christmas. And they're going to be like, Is that guy coming?
I should
No,
send my
no,
buddy
he's
Shane
not.
with her for Christmas.
It
Hey,
might
yo.
be- It'll be an upgrade.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. It would be. He knows how to act.
So yeah. So some of my clients, I would say a decent amount of my clients, like I shared last week, are like breaking up or in the midst of like a make or break type of situation.
You want to hear a neat story?
I would love to hear a neat story.
I was tattooing a girl, and she said that she was seeing a boy for like 4 weeks, and they're busy, and they have like kind of opposite schedules, and didn't really get to see each other that much. She went on vacation that she already had planned, and she goes, "I'm on vacation. I'm not really on my phone that much. I'm trying to be present. I'm trying to do what I'm supposed to do." He was already weird about some social media stuff, but he made a fake profile of another dude and like friend requested her and like engaged in a conversation. I was like, a dude did this?
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean by that?
You know exactly what I mean by that. And I
It
was
seems
like,
super feminine of him.
no,
Well,
yes.
Everybody can be insecure.
I understand that, but like, it was, I was like,
Not typical.
and she goes, she goes, I wasn't even inappropriate. And he screenshot, he's like, look, you're engaging. And she's like, yeah, look what I wrote. Like, I was kind and polite because she's kind and polite. But I was just like, and she goes, immediately I was like, I can't fuck with you. And I was like, holy shit. That's a lot of work.
4 weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks is like not obnoxious, but like a decent amount of time.
4 weeks is like, why would you? That's dude. I'm sorry, but there's
But I
something
feel like that's on the
wrong.
cusp. So that website that we shall not speak of,
Oh yeah, we need to update with that.
I saw somebody recently who posted and they were like, I've matched with this guy on Bumble. His location on Bumble is like active, but not also accurate. And like sometimes he says that he's at work and sometimes he's at home and whatever. And all these women are like commenting and they're like, if you are stalking his location, like hard pass.
Do him a
Like-
favor.
You already
Do him
know.
a favor not to
Right.
go out with him.
And so, and her
Then you
rebuttal.
already don't trust, and
Right.
done.
Her rebuttal was, we have been sleeping together for a month. Like, it's not like we just matched. We've been sleeping together for a month, and we agreed that we are exclusively sleeping together out of like you always say, like health respect, right? Like,
Yeah.
right. If you're touching me where I pee,
Have some understanding.
have some
If
understanding.
that's what you need.
Right. Not exclusively to dating or meeting or talking, but like sex.
Okay.
We have been sleeping together for a month. And she's like, so it's not that you're out and about and doing whatever the hell. It's the fact that it appears as though you're lying. Like you say you're working and your Bumble location says that you're out
Right.
in Cleveland. Sorry. And like you
Ow.
can't I wouldn't care if you said like, hey, I'm out with XYZ,
But this is
whatever.
not adding up. Hey, give me one
Or
second.
just
Keep talking.
not
I'm
even
gonna
tell
do something really
that you're
quick.
doing anything. Like,
Sure.
I'm not going to be with you.
Right.
Like if
Hey,
I'm doing
Thomas,
something.
Yeah.
Can you make sure my ringer is off? Because I thought it just went off. Right there. Yep. But yeah, like she's like, it's not the expectation mismatch, even so much as like you're saying we're on the same page, but then things aren't lining up, so it seems as though you're being Well, so unfortunately, women on this website were ripping her apart. Like,
Okay.
if you are checking locations a month in, like, what the fuck are you doing?
If you're checking
But-
locations like 2
And-
years
oh,
in, like
sure,
why?
right?
Like,
And like, and we have had
if
had
someone's
that
going to cheat,
conversation
they're going to cheat,
here.
and they're going to figure out a way around it.
Right.
Like, either you trust them or you don't, unless you have a good reason. Unless you have a
I
good
know.
reason.
We have had that conversation a couple different times on this show about like, I have clients or couples on my caseload that are like, well, I'm sure you and your husband share a location. And I'm like, actually, not at all. On anything. I have my children.
Mm-hmm.
I have an iPhone. My children have an iPhone. My husband does not. We don't have Life 360. You know, like they share their location through Apple.
I don't have Life 360 because I don't want my kids knowing where I am. I'm a grown up.
Yeah, I'm a grown up. I don't need to. You don't need to know. I don't need to know your speed. Like, I just need to know where you are. And like in my head with my children, it's like safety purposes, but it's also not like if I don't hear from you for 2 hours, like
I'm gonna check.
Did you make it to the swim meet? I guess is like my
I'll
fear.
look and I'll see so I don't bother you.
Yeah,
and
right.
Feel checking up
I don't want you to be embarrassed. But I don't have read receipts on my phone. My husband has a Android. I have an iPhone. We don't share location on Snapchat. Like none of that. So her question was, on Bumble, it shares your location or like updates your location. So she's like, does it update it constantly? Is there like a glitch or like a functionality issue or whatever? And then other people were like, well, it only updates once you like open the app.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
If you're having sex with a guy for a month, why are you both still on Bumble?
Well, you said they were dating other people still. They were
not mutually exclusive in like the dating or talking aspect.
Then why do you care?
Well, and she said, she's like, I don't care where he.
She said it was about lying, because if you tell someone you're going to be somewhere and you're somewhere else. Sorry.
Okay.
It was more about the fact that he's like, oh, sorry, I didn't talk to you all.
Well, and why would you lie to me?
I was at work.
Yeah, if it's not
he
a big
worked
deal.
in like the downtown area, but he lives 45 minutes away, and she's on Bumble where they have recent messages, and she's like, well, Bumble said you were in like 35 minutes away all day, not in the downtown area. So she's like, and she was very sweet and defensive against other women who were like tearing her apart, that were like, if you're checking his location, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't give a shit if he's talking to other people. He's sleeping with me, and there was a mutual discussion and understanding. And if you're lying, that is a red flag. Right. If you're out and about and talking to other people, I don't care. Right. It would hurt my feelings. Like, she was honest. Like, yeah, it would hurt my feelings. But like, we have had this conversation of like, health is a completely like next level.
Not going to be vulnerable with my princess parts if you're not telling me the truth.
Absolutely. We can have conversations for days in person or on social media, but if you touch me where I pee and we agree that that's all we're doing,
it's important.
It's important. And so she was like, just lying is an issue. I don't give a shit where you're at or what you're doing, because we haven't gotten to that level. But then other women were on there like, well, what does that say about you? And she's like, I mean.
I love how you guys start cannibalizing each other. I fucking love it. It's all girls like, we're here to help each other, and like, this is a website so we can like really be on each other's team.
There are those women. Like,
there are.
I'm not saying there's not.
Oh yeah, people in the messages
are
like, listen, she can fuck whoever she wants to fuck, and if they have a mutual verbal agreement,
right,
that doesn't mean that they're not taking precaution. Like, that just means that they are being respectful of each other's health.
Yeah.
Which is very different to some people than their like emotional 100%. Intimacy.
I like that. So if I popped up on there yet, I feel like I got to do something to get on there.
You're not on dating sites, Thomas.
I'm not dating.
I was going to say, if you're not dating, who's going to say, are we dating?
I just feel like I just want to be a rebel, you know?
I would love nothing
you just want to hear what people say about you
to get on for like.
Do you want me to put your face on?
Research.
You want me to put it up there?
Yeah, like, is this guy
research?
Okay.
Dude, I'm just kidding. Please don't do that.
That'll be
sweet.
That's what you guys can talk about next week, is what kind of responses I get.
'Tis the season to what?
Hey, you should be like this. Is this guy ever tattooed you and made you feel dumb about your choices in life? And they'd be like, oh, you did me.
Are you like me? Like, I tell my clients when they come in, I'm like, so what I'm an expert in is making you feel uncomfortable.
That's her.
All the time.
Not me. I make them explain themselves. That probably makes them a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, that's it, right?
I always
push them out of their
comfort zone. It's my job to make you fire me as soon as possible.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Ideally,
because I make you-
successfully.
Yes, not because I make you uncomfortable, but
I would like
want
you
to
to
make sure that
successfully terminate me
Mhm.
as soon as possible.
the only job in the world where you work.
I have
hard
plenty
to
of
get
job
fired.
security.
Hmm.
I don't. I love you all, but I don't need you weekly.
Right.
I would like to be successful in getting you bi-weekly or monthly or as needed so that I can help other people
Hmm. I'm
get
turning
to
people away.
bi-weekly and monthly and as needed.
I like the thought
I've had
of that.
four intakes this week. 4.
Me too.
I think I've had like 8 over the last
'Tis
3
the
weeks.
season.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful season. So we're going to talk about getting your stuff in, your stocking stuffed,
Your stocking stuff.
right? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. 'Tis the season. So as he said, we are talking about for the next couple weeks,
Oh,
right?
shit.
Ideally. What?
I had something saved on my phone.
Well, this
It might
there
be
you
on
go.
here. Yeah.
Every week we're going to focus on positive like how-tos over the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Oh, here it
And
is.
a partridge in a pear tree, right? Like we're going to give you It's it looks like Instagram. Is it Instagram?
Yeah.
An Instagram post that says these tokens actually saved our date nights. And there are tokens. So I'm not going to lie. I gave my husband one of these.
One of those? Or just one of those?
One of those.
You picked it
No, so it came with like a bundle.
like that?
It came with a bundle with like
Oh, fun.
a candle and a token and like whatever. It was our anniversary.
All right, so explain what this is. So this is like a sack of coins
Of coins.
that you
and it
reach
says,
in and pick one, right?
Let's see.
It's like sex bingo.
yeah, sex bingo.
But
it says
well, you don't have to match, but they just pull them out. Yeah.
fuck my mouth.
Christ.
Shower sex, hand job, doggy style, spank me,
Jesus.
couch sex, and the rest of them start to get blurry in the image. No, my husband the other day handed me a blowjob token.
You're like giving or getting.
And I was like,
You need to be specific, sir.
all right. I mean,
Not falling for that shit again.
that's fair. And even me, who's like pretty open-minded, I was like, now that you're presenting it, I have mixed feelings about like you presenting a token.
But it might, I don't know.
On
I saw
demand.
that and I
It
knew we were
might.
talking about this stuff today and I was like, that would be
Yeah,
interesting.
but recently I saw on
That's really great though for spicing things up. If
anything.
people- yeah.
Right. I saw on Etsy the other day there was like a plate that had 3 different, maybe 3 or 4 different like cubes, right? And there were dice, and it was like we're gonna eat what?
Mhm.
And it was like an example of like Mexican, Italian,
Chinese, yeah.
I need that.
coffee, something. Right? Like
make my mind
this
up
is
about
what we're
food.
gonna go, right? And then what? And so it was like a movie or bowling or go for a walk or go for whatever activity, right? Dinner, activity, and then sexual act. And it was like we're gonna have sex somewhere new. Or we're going to engage in 40...
You mean like new in your body?
No, new as in
Could
like
be,
in a
right?
parking lot, in the car, or like for some people it's like in the bathroom instead of in the bedroom, or on the couch, or in the kitchen, or something like just to kind of switch it up. And I like screenshotted it and sent it to my husband, and he was like, "I feel like we could do that. It just." Like, I don't know that we need the prompt so much as like the open communication about it. And I was like, I feel like that's the point of the prompts, though,
It's
is
just okay.
to
start the
yeah,
conversation.
we're busy. We're busy.
Like this, it says on a date night.
Yeah.
This is for a date night. This isn't just like
Yeah.
you're at home
These
doing dishes
tokens
and he hands
actually
you a fucking
saved
token.
our date night.
So I
Right.
would say that would be, if you had those tokens, I would use those on a date night. I wouldn't use those on random times, like you're at your mother-in-law's and you're like,
Well, that could be spicy too,
yeah.
right? Like,
Maybe.
well,
If
there
that's
is
your date
something
night.
about like
Yes.
going back to your parents' house.
The taboo.
that makes
Not
it-
mine.
right, the taboo of it.
I'm good.
You don't want to have sex at your parents' house?
No, God,
Oh, my
no.
parents wouldn't have cared.
Your parents wouldn't.
Well, right, guy, like
We heard
I
about
wasn't
your
even having
parents.
sex, but like, guys, my boyfriend spent the night.
Yeah.
Not when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Like I was an adult
You're
when
like,
I
it
was
was
in
middle
college.
school.
I had boy sleepovers, but
Right.
I had a lot of guy friends, and my parents understood that, like
Right.
I remember I was dating a guy, and he was like, I don't know about these guys she hangs out with, and my mom was like, you better be glad that you met her, not as a friend. She's like,
Really?
because you would have had no chance
That's
if you had been
hilarious.
her friend first, because she does not date her friends.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's pretty
Your mom
good.
was ride or die.
Yeah, for real.
She is.
She's like, no.
I mean, she's polite, but yeah.
Well, sure, but it sounds like realistic
Yeah.
and honest.
Yeah. She didn't let anyone mess with me, right? Like, yeah, she'll cut a bitch for me.
That's funny.
She will.
That's good stuff.
All right, get me back to where we were. Okay. So, Mindy,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
Did
going to
you-
sit back on this conversation, by the way.
did you watch Thomas, did we air the episode about the, like, kink questionnaire?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes. No, you saw that.
They have apps for those too.
I know. So that's what we were talking about. So I have a decent amount on my minimal caseload of people who find themselves struggling to be honest with their partner or are honest because of the transparency, but there's no movement necessarily. Like, these are things that I've enjoyed, these are things that I've viewed and have not engaged in, but here it is. And website 1 is how to explain your fetish to your partner. And so I'm curious, Dr. Sex.
Dr. Sex.
But like, I mean, that is a passion of yours, like sexual intimacy, right?
Sex is a passion of mine.
Right?
On
Like, I mean, but
multiple
like, right. It's intimacy or healthy sexual
Yeah.
connection.
Super
is,
important.
Listen,
It is.
I have said on the
Oh
show
my gosh.
multiple times, like, I bring up sex in an intake more often than most,
Immediately.
I feel like.
Immediately.
It is
First
not on my
intake, yeah.
intake through my third party person, but I'm like, hey, while I have you,
And how's your sex life?
Yeah, I don't do that at work.
Do you have a sex life?
how satisfied are you? I usually have them like on a Likert scale. Like, at your best in any relationship, and I don't need to know the details, but like, at your best, how satisfied were you?
Right.
And how satisfied are you now? It usually is 2 different numbers.
Really? How far off are they?
Decent.
Really? Like a 7 and a 3?
I was just gonna say like a 7 and a 3,
Yeah.
usually.
Hmm.
I have never met anybody that's like, oh, I've been at a 10. Ever.
Really?
With a partner. Yeah.
What about 11?
No. The
I-
closest I've gotten is people who won't scale it, and they're like, no, we're satisfied. And just like,
He's like, you're not walking through a mall by a kiosk, and they're like, hey,
They
would
just-
you like to try this hair dryer? And you're like, no, I'm good.
thank you.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'll- stop. No, thank you.
I'll still push that a little bit. Like, what does satisfied mean to you?
you
It's
think-
usually couples.
Are
Individuals
you satisfied
have
not
no,
talking
yeah,
about
right.
it? Is that what you're satisfied with? And
Right.
is that actually working for both of you?
It very clearly, as a clinician, even virtually, comes across the screen as insecurity and discomfort having the conversation, and like, nobody has complained, so we're good, and we're like not going to talk about that.
It's really hard to come across a couple that comes in that's having issues that their sex life is great.
Correct.
Because sex life affects relational, emotional intimacy, and emotional intimacy affects sex.
Would you say
So-
that most people who have really good sex lives aren't probably going into marriage counseling with major problems?
Probably. I would think if you're having really great sex, then
You
you're
trust each
doing
other
a
and
lot
you
of
enjoy
things
each other.
right.
Or you just really
Or
don't-
you just match,
you
really.
don't care.
Well, and you just have it down and you're both good with the routine of it.
Yeah. That's the common thing that I've heard a million times. Like, if you're having problems with your mate, have sex with them every day for 30 days. Every day. And then you'll probably forget about the dumb shit. Not forget about it, I'm saying, but you'll
well,
get
no,
closer.
no, not
and-
just sex, but like intimate,
Yeah.
That's what I'm
working
intimate,
towards
right.
intimate sex,
Yeah.
then yes.
Well, they say 1 out
Yeah.
of 4
And the first couple
relationships.
days might be awkward.
Probably.
The first day might not be.
Could be
The
angry
second
sex to
day,
start with.
the third day, the fourth day. I mean, no, absolutely. I've had conversations with clients that I was like, what if you had like fuck you sex?
Mhm.
And they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, I mean, I feel like it serves a purpose. So could we?
Well, you have to decide how safe that is, right?
Right, that's what I mean.
Because
Like, yeah.
guys are much easier for them to have angry sex because that's a pounding motion, right? Like it's a
Right.
thrusting motion, and can be an angry motion.
Sure.
But to take something in for a woman, like that's a vulnerability, and that has to have more of a relaxed body. So depending also on your genital size match, like how comfortable that would be with angry.
You hear that,
sex.
Mike?
I knew you can't say that without Thomas biting. There's no way.
That was being good.
Biting is good too.
Yeah. Don't leave marks.
With a conversation. But like I have had conversations with clients that is like, listen, if there's a lot of tension, like healthy hate sex
Mhm.
is appropriate and can be beneficial
Absolutely.
to break down walls.
Absolutely. Or at least
Oftentimes,
keep
yes,
engagement.
Something, right? I don't know. Do you see a lot of like couples clients? Yeah.
It's usually my Friday night.
Yeah.
Friday night.
Mine are
date
usually
night.
Monday nights and Wednesday nights. But
Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they are all over the spectrum, right? So I have clients that are like, our sex life is not an issue. I'm like, statistically, for myself as a clinician, communication and fighting, sex and finances, top 3.
Mhm.
100% of the time.
Mhm.
So if you come to me and I ask you how your sex life is and you both say it's fine, I automatically don't believe you.
I automatically say you're not communicating if you both think it's fine.
No. If you're both in couples counseling and you both say it's totally fine, like that's not to say it's bad.
Is there like a top 5 things that people always end up there with because of these same 5 things?
I'd say top 3. Like I said, communication, sex, and finances. For me. Do you agree?
Or an infidelity?
Well, that's sex.
Okay, well, we
So
talked
it's
about
trust,
infidelity to be a trust
trust,
thing, so,
yeah.
not just a sex thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
broken expectations, but that's a communication thing,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
if
And there's
if we
lack
have-
of trust and lack of communication. Partner A or B, regardless of gender, doesn't feel vulnerable, doesn't feel safe to feel vulnerable. So they get more rigid, they get more closed off. Somebody approaches, but it's not well received. So I have a lot of couples who they're like, no, I have tried. Like they say they want me to approach and flirt all day. And like I have a lot of women on my caseload right now that they're like, I've seen so many TikToks that it's not like an hour thing. You have to like build it up all day.
Cool.
And
Start making biscuits at 7 in the morning and cook all fucking day. I'm not being an asshole, but like
no, there is something to that, right?
I
Because
do.
men
Being
can
sweet.
transition a lot easier than women can transition.
can I?
No, you can't. You're done. We're taking over. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
have at it, love.
Sorry.
So that's good. So normally, when you demand something out of somebody, like where you make it this whole thing, like
Well, you got it right there. Demand. We don't make demands of our partners.
okay, this is my question. If a boy's never done that when you first started courting, and now that you've had,
I'm sorry. That was Southern as
I am. So
if you first started courting.
so
See, I'm down with it though.
and the
like,
boy never did that, and you've been married long enough to be in therapy, so that's a while normally.
Sure, yeah.
You probably
not
got some kids.
necessarily.
Well, I'm saying, but you probably have some kids. Like
They've gotten into stage 3.
that would
most
be
of the
so
time.
hard to get somebody that's never literally they went, you married me like this, and now all of a sudden it's changing and it's being. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying you're allowed to change.
well, people change, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
you're
caught off
definitely
guard.
allowed to change.
Right. Like, how did we land here?
But I see it a lot where couples just they they get so cold with each other, and they never stop what they're doing and just go hug each other when they walk in the door and give them a real kiss. It's always something is more important. I had a comment the other day that I said, if I ever get in another relationship, I'm buying a tiny home. I'm not having a fucking TV in there. I can have only the minimum things that I can fit in that fucking house. And we can draw, paint, read, play guitar, play a piano, whatever the fuck you want to do.
Puzzle.
Okay?
Crochet.
But if I can dig you for a year without us trying to murder each other, with just us, with things that intrigue us as far as that goes, then I'd probably want to be with you. But unless I realize distractions and like all this stuff, like you got to flirt with me all day because you got to make me feel wanted and you got to make me feel needed. Right? That's what the girl's saying when you say that, right? That's what they're asking?
No.
Because guys come up and just want to do things. And that just
No, it's
irritates the shit.
foreplay.
Yeah.
Right. And I understand that.
It's not. So I have a lot of women on my caseload that are like, I need you to flirt with me. And I'll be honest, like as a human, I struggle with that sometimes, that I'm like, what's flirting? You know, like, come on.
I don't know.
Like,
I love flirting is my thing.
I know. But I guess my personality style is like, there has to be some gray. Like, I don't need you to flirt with me all day long.
You'd be annoyed as fuck by it.
Well, on occasion.
Sure, flirting is fun. Flirting consistently and daily seems unrealistic to even me as a woman. So my brain goes back to like emotional connection and like love languages. So you get up and you keep the light off while you're getting ready because I don't have to get up for another hour. You kiss me goodbye because you know I get upset if you were like to leave without saying anything. You text me throughout the day to show that you're thinking of me. And when you come home, you approach me, you give me a hug, and you don't just like bail. Like for me, it's more like the consistent effort as opposed to even the 24 hours of like extra effort.
Ass grabbing and telling you how beautiful you are.
To like.
Those are quality time.
Yeah. Like to get something. I don't want a 2-day-a-week elevation of intensity as a means to an end. I need consistency.
Then it's exchange.
Yeah,
That's
it's
an
transactional.
exchange. Yeah.
So like you got up and you gave me like extra kisses and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you go to work in an hour, there's no way that we're both getting off in the next 20 minutes. Like it's like
No,
stop
that
it.
attitude.
Right, stop.
Yes.
Now,
You woke up 5 minutes
Mindset
ago.
is
Let's
sick.
be honest.
Yeah, get after it.
And you're going to go to work and then you're going to text me what dirty God knows what. And then you're going to come home and we're going to have all the kids at home. And then we're going to be up till 10 o'clock at night and we're both going to be tired. And then you're going to be like, oh, remember that text I sent you at 10 a.m.? I do.
You didn't
He's like
keep
this.
me warm all day.
Here's my coin.
Right. I was super excited at 10 a.m. When I was completely detached from reality.
Yeah.
But I think that sometimes those are the women that I have on my caseload that they're like, I don't need 24/7 of intense flirting. I need consistent, and maybe it is more like the quality time people
And
that like I need
well, that's one of the things I was thinking
engagement
about.
and connection.
Well, and with sex, that's super important, right? The idea of, I need to know that you're attracted to me. I need to know that you want me. I need to know that I'm not an afterthought.
So
or
that
token machine of like, if I put enough in, then I get something out.
Transactional. Yeah.
A lot of people
Relationship,
feel that way.
not transactional.
Yeah, right. That like,
we're
it's
confused
been a
because
couple
there's
days.
slot and it just tokens.
Yeah.
No?
No.
And that's never been a huge issue in my life. So
Well,
I'm like over here
surprising.
going like this, and because I'm just like, no, that's not the issue.
Some people are, I would imagine that you're compassionate and emotional. Some people aren't.
I'm a problem solver.
They really do come up, and men and women, because I have seen it both ways on my caseload, walk up and like grab them by the ass or literally like the balls or something, and like, hey, like, how you doing? You know, like, and
That's how
that doesn't go super far.
Some people it does.
Yeah, like
And there's moments for
you
that.
have to know your partner.
Know the room.
Read the room.
Yeah.
Like
Like
if you're making dinner while your children are in the living room,
You can be
maybe
sweet.
not the idea.
Maybe go a little softer. You know
but
what I mean?
It could, but again, you have to know what kind of mood they're in, and you have to approach it gently, right? If you're going to do that and you want to grab a piece apart, then you might want to come
Dry
up.
the dishes while you're.
Well, yes. But also even just coming up behind and start with gentle, right?
Right.
Start with
Always.
gentle and maybe some kissing on the neck and
Yeah.
do some stuff, and then it can be fun while the kids are in the
and
other room and a little
flirty and
dangerous
taboo
flirty.
and right,
Yes.
yeah, right.
But not like groping, unless somebody likes groping.
Well, sure. And
I mean, I'm
a
sure
lot of people
sometimes
do.
they do.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this:
Like, be grotesque.
what it all comes down to is, if all the choring's done, you get to play. If all the choring's not done, you don't get to play.
That's my big thing with my kids. We got to do what we got to do before we get to do what we want to do.
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
but if that's the case too, if you're with a responsible adult, which I'm gonna assume if you're in counseling and you're trying to work through your marriage or your relationship, you're with a reasonably responsible adult. I'm gonna assume that most reasonable, responsible adults would like to have their house reasonable and not worried about that. Because if you're laying in bed and you're thinking the fucking clothes are not put away, the kids aren't gonna have clothes tomorrow, I'm not gonna have clothes tomorrow, there's fucking dishes in the fucking sink. Like, and granted, there's people that are slobs that are fucking all day long. That's a different group of people. They're probably not in therapy. Sorry. They're probably happy as fuck too, just like rats fucking around their dirty house. It's gross. But fair? Some meth heads just getting it on.
Oh no.
Sorry. But I'm saying, like,
It definitely has a picture.
Yes.
I mean,
Going
I
on.
have a visual.
but I'm saying, like, if you're helping people around the house and you're both helping people around the house, that's kind of attractive to a lot of people.
It's being a partner.
Right.
Like, right? Like I was telling my 14-year-old today, I was like, the idea of nurturing your partner, like I was talking about chivalry, right? And the idea of like chivalry is amazing. And a lot of women take it as an insult. And it's like, why? Like, it's the idea of someone who knows you and can say, like, I totally know that you can handle this all on your own. But why should you? If I can,
You don't have to.
if I can help,
Yeah.
right? Like, if I
It's
can do
very
it with
confusing
you.
for us. It's very confusing as
What
men.
is?
As men, of what is
Chivalry.
allowed and what.
What's insulting?
I'm lucky
and
With
that
what's
a
I'm-
kind?
partner or with a stranger?
I don't care about strangers. I'm going to be nice. I'm always going to hold the door, and I'm always going to do things. I'm always going to, if you're struggling to reach something, I'm going to hand it to you. I don't care. If you're offended by me calling you ma'am, I was raised in a certain way, and that's what we did, and I'm not offended. And if you're like, I'm not old enough to be ma'am, I said, well, I was raised that anybody that
I
was
say that
a
to
female.
kids.
Right.
Right.
So I just think that some people are problematic, and it doesn't matter how you treat them, they're going to be pissed. Anybody that's mad because you're holding the door for them, they have some other shit going on. I mean, like,
Again, if your intentions are good,
did I hold doors for
You're good.
dudes? It doesn't matter. I hold door for anybody that I'm
Polite.
holding a
Right.
door for.
If you're behind me,
I just open the door,
yeah.
you know. But if a girl's like, I can do this on my own, and I've talked to girls, you know, like I let a guy know I don't need them. I said, you should probably stop doing that. Why do we? If you went into a job interview and you're like, I don't really need this job, I probably wouldn't fucking want to work with you. You're just already problematic. Like, why are you here? Why are you on a dating site if you don't need a man? Then, well, you need something from them, or you wouldn't be trying to collect something from them or engage with them. Is that fair?
well, and that's something that they're dealing with. Someone
100%.
probably made them feel like they were.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
if the pendulum swings, but the pendulum swings where if you're super vulnerable with a person, and then the next person's like, I just let them know that I'm not okay with this, and I'm not okay with that, and I'm like, well, maybe you should be okay with that before you start engaging in a relationship with a human.
Well, sometimes that's what rebounds tend to be like, right? To figure that shit out. Like, where is the
They should have a rebound
we go this
bar.
way and then to this way, and then we'll come back a little bit more
Yeah,
until we
right,
find the
in the
healthy
middle.
balance.
And that's why, and not everybody is honest on those sites, but I have.
Not
not everybody is on this, but I say that because I have seen profiles personally or through said site where they're like friendship, casual, nothing serious. Like where they have been as transparent as they can be that like, this is why I'm here. I'm looking for a hookup and or just a good time.
And if somebody's telling you, I don't want anything serious.
I don't want anything else. And then these women are posting these profile pictures and they're like, we've been talking for 3 weeks and curious.
He says he doesn't want anything serious.
He says
Black and white.
Then he's going to be dating other people.
Right.
Okay, but it goes back to what we were talking about earlier before we came on air. When girls hear about a guy saying, this is not what I want to do, it's almost a game to make them do it.
That's true.
Do you think that's healthy, ladies?
No, it's not healthy.
Look on their face, everyone. Look at their faces. Stop making people do things they don't want to do just to prove that you have power over them. It's gross.
Women,
Why do you want power over someone?
I guess playing devil's advocate, women like to be the exception, not the rule. Right? So if you are online and you're saying, I want nothing serious, looking for something casual, looking for just a friend with benefits, and you, for whatever reason, have found yourself talking to them for like a month.
It's the emotional porn of all the romantic comedies that we have that it's like, I didn't want this, but like,
there's literally
this
movies
person
about
just,
this, right? Like
this person's just so irresistible
It
and
comes
so
when you're
amazing
not
that it
looking
can't.
for it.
yes.
When are you not
yes.
looking for it? Like,
A lot. Well, I mean,
right. It's still in the back of people's heads. Like,
yes,
the
but
radar's
that's-
still going by.
That is the meet cute, right? Of like, oh, I met this person and we bumped into each other, or I met they want to be the exception.
Gross.
It feels good. The fantasy of it feels good.
It's what women in our culture has to do. We're socialized to that with all of the media and all of the movies.
All of the movies and all of the books and all of the...
It's super fun for us. Just let you guys know.
yeah.
Well,
we
but
love
like,
it.
think of like
We love it.
Disney
Women-
movies.
Women are emotional porn. Men are visual porn.
Yeah.
Right?
I just saw
and so
a Facebook
neither of us
thing,
can keep up.
I had a neat
with
idea
those.
about porn the other day. I was talking to somebody.
Like something you wanted to.
Not
See?
do or see. No. When I was growing
new
up,
pitch.
when I was growing up, you couldn't really pick the girls you saw. The magazines picked them for you.
Well, sure.
You
pick
open
the
them up and
cover.
you're like, oh, there's a blonde in there. Oh, there's a brunette in there. Oh, there's a whatever
little
you're
boobs,
into.
big boobs,
Right.
skinny.
Now you literally can go, I can
Categories.
pick exact size, hair color, eye color, what on this
Age.
table they have inside of them. Like literally everything. You can fine tune it. And I'm like going, is this... Because we were
Gross?
talking... Well, we were
Yes.
talking... Well, I remember like your mom would take
Options.
you to the store. She would take you to
porn.
Kmart and you had to find it there. No, like find whatever you needed there. And if you were lucky, your mom might take you to Zayre's, like another store if you couldn't find it there. But most parents are like, no, this is it. Find it here or you're not getting it. Dude, there's nothing limiting us now. I could get on.
And those magazines had wording on the cover. They were in a plastic slip that, like, you didn't know what were in there
Oh, I knew what was in there.
unless your friend had it.
Yeah.
And they showed you, and then you had
it was in the woods.
a goal
Smelled like the
of
woods.
getting to the gas station and getting that.
way.
That
Yeah,
right.
I was too young.
That was
100%.
it. You had to steal
Now-
it from your parents
Oof,
or your uncle or your family or like.
it's
Your
crazy
friend's
now.
dad.
And now there are categories.
I recently
Online.
had a client that was talking about a dude that she was with, and they broke up, and he was into like group sex and watching his friends have sex with this girl. And she was so appalled by it. She was just like, this is,
Oh,
yeah.
that's kink. That's,
hardcore.
That's a very
talked about that,
normal.
yeah.
It's-
cuckolding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if it was quite that. I don't
Okay.
know if it was that kind of thing.
just the voyeurism.
Like when
Well, I
they
was
were,
going to say voyeurism would be watching two people have sex.
yeah, and I don't know exactly.
Someone
Cuckolding
is
would be like watching somebody have sex with
your
your
girl.
person.
I didn't
Yeah.
talk about it in that kind of detail
Yeah.
because I'm not you guys, and
Yeah.
there's a weird line. Even though what I do, there's
Sure.
still a line. I
Obviously,
don't want
for
to
you.
be that in my hard drive. But when she was talking about it, her and her friend were like, "It's just fucking weird," and we talked a little bit about it earlier. But I was like, that guy was like vulnerable with you and like talked to you about it, and like what you say you want somebody to be honest with you, but when they're honest with you,
You're
prepared for
what
that.
was her response?
She got out of the relationship, but he was doing crazy stuff. Like they said they had a hot tub, and there's just random people over there all the time. The one girl goes, I open up the door, and there's like 4 naked people in the hot tub. I'm like, how old are these people? Like, wow, like that's for a young age. And I was like, they're just wilding out, man. You know.
Well,
Mike is on. I don't know if there's any soaking.
Don't get
Mike.
Mindy started on soaking. She has clarification for us.
Oh, you got to clarify the soaking. Let's do it.
Oh, did I send you stuff on clarifying?
On Mormon soaking.
Oh, it was on, yeah.
Mormonism.
What was
You're
on?
like,
It sounds like Mormons, not Mormons.
big generalization.
I like
Big
it.
generalizations
I like
going
it.
on there.
I like it.
But that was about the polyamory, though, or the polygamy. Like,
Yeah.
like Mormons are not polygamous. Like,
No,
like,
totally different.
Like
Yeah.
Mormons, there are Mormon sects that are
super orthodox,
that are
like the
polygamous,
LDS.
but those are generally not healthy.
No,
Which is why they're illegal.
Did you
Which
watch
is
that
why
show?
the Mormon, like,
that documentary.
I
is
saw a
brutal.
new show.
but
where there's like trailer
I have
homes.
to say, like, I think like polygamy could be good.
Can be.
Yeah, it could be super.
It's rare,
It's
in
very
my
rare.
opinion, that
Again,
it is
what
like
communication.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
If there's not respect and
Communication about
communication
boundaries and respect, right? Yeah.
Oh, but it could be because then you have all these people who are this sisterhood of
network.
people who are
Yes, it's
who
a
are all backing
network.
each other up and support. Like I could totally get behind that, but it's not because it's power play.
And jealousy and power and you spent this
Just over here
many
being quiet.
hours or days with this person. But like I don't have any polyamorous Mormons on my caseload. I have a surprising amount, if I'm being honest, of like polyamory couples on my caseload right now.
Really?
The ethical
they
non-monogamy
are-
is big.
Yeah, and they
I'm
are
glad.
having a hard time because it's usually a historical monogamous versus somebody who is more polyamorous up front. And so like that is
Can't we just
difficult.
get polyamorous with polyamorous? Can't we just get that?
It never works that way on like
I mean, honestly.
In Ohio.
Sure, yeah.
Hard in Ohio.
It's usually somebody who's like, I really like you, but this is what it would take for me to be fulfilled long term. And the other person saying like, I really love you, but I hear you. And I could potentially get behind that, but we have to grow and strengthen our relationship before we open it up to others, which is super understandable. Like we need to be solid and work on our communication and our boundaries before we open up.
Yes. We need to know how to communicate about that
Right.
because otherwise it's going to go bad.
It'll go bad.
It'll go bad.
10 times out of 10. Might take 2 months or 2 years or 20 years.
You were
But like
playing with
So it's like
fire.
a regular relationship.
yeah. There's just more like
I mean,
More
like
fire,
honestly.
right?
open. Yeah, there is more fire because like we're all aware that there's fire in the house.
I notice a lot of people that are in that lifestyle because I've tattooed some people. And like I said, I don't talk deeply about people's sexual life. It's kind of like general conversation.
Well, cringy.
But I don't want to know about that.
could go a hard left at any point,
Yeah.
right?
I just don't want to open that door. And for many reasons. And but I've noticed a lot of them, they get out of like super hardcore monogamous relationships that weren't good, and they just want to just really, stretch their legs,
Wow,
no
out.
pun intended. You know what I mean? And really get out there and kind of live their best life. But I love that there's venues for that now.
So is that, but that's not necessarily polyamory, right?
No, I'm
so
saying
like,
they are. No, they're in open
So-
relationships. And some of them have more rules and some of them don't have rules. I don't understand rules. Rules don't make sense to me very much.
not rules, like
Laws of
expectations.
engagement.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, we're
understand.
going to have our
Yeah, I know, yeah.
expectations of
Yeah.
what my boundaries are, what
What
doesn't
me
feel good
comfortable,
for, yeah.
right, and safe.
I had a client talking about their sister, and their sister went out of super controlling. They almost always come out of super controlling relationships. I've noticed. The ones that I've
Well,
been
because
around.
when
I
you've
would
lost
not-
control,
yeah.
then you right that pendulum. If you've
Right.
lost control, you grab
Yeah.
for all of it.
Yeah, I would not disagree based on my current caseload. Like
Yeah.
the people that fall into that category. Like
They
I could,
used to be in
I
a
could
super
see
controlling
that they,
relationship.
they
Mhm.
have.
Well,
It's
just-
relate.
this
Or
is
like
fair.
it's
at least
relative,
somebody
right? Like
was.
yes, somebody was.
But here's the thing I'm noticing though, like if a girl came out of a super controlling relationship where her husband was super controlling and now she's with a boy and they're in an open relationship, it seems like what I saw recently is the girl has to control everything about that polyamorous relationship. They're in control. You know what I mean? I'm like this, so wait a minute.
Then
You
that-
were mad, right. it's-
No relationship is healthy like that.
No.
Mhm.
Like, relationship cannot be
What do
someone
you-
in control, unless it's like a BDSM thing,
Right,
right?
that's
Where
what
you
I'm
have the
saying.
control, but that's
By definition, if there's a power differential,
right.
That has to be that.
That's the
what
excitement of it, is
Yeah.
the power differential.
And it's
but,
what you dig.
but not a, I have to have this regardless of what you say.
Yeah,
feel,
I wouldn't
or
be
want.
interested in a relationship where somebody was like, yeah, you can have sex with other girls, but I have to pick them. I have to set this. I have to do. I would be like,
Well, sometimes that, I think a
That
lot of
falls
times
into a
in
different category,
polyamory, the reason that there are these, usually your primary partner will have some kind of say in
Right.
who you're dating, because if I get a bad vibe from this person, that I can tell that they're going to try
see, that would be a different way
to
of explaining
sabotage,
it. I don't want to be in a
our
polyamorous
relationship, then I want to be able to say that I'm not comfortable with the person that
Sorry
you're
you
with,
like
because
them,
I feel
but-
like it
Right.
poses a risk to our relationship.
primary relationship,
Mhm.
right?
If I'm your primary,
Yeah.
right? If we're the primary, or we're nesting partners or something like
Yeah,
that,
we live together.
yes,
And, yeah.
then I want to be able to have veto power in
veto
something
power.
that does
I like
not
that,
make
yeah.
me feel safe.
I can understand that. I don't. I mean, I in my life now, there's no way.
Now, if it's like a throuple or something like that, then of course people are going to have a say in that, because,
Right.
like, if I'm going to be having sex with them too, then
Yeah. There's input that is
Right.
needed.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
a lot of
we
input.
have to both agree on this person. And several
Stop
inputs.
it.
Lots of inputting
Yeah.
and
In
outputting.
thruples, yes.
I had a client.
Sorry,
can't-
you
you
don't
can't
like me
handle
going
it.
with this, right? Like,
No,
Come on, I need.
Stop
I like.
encouraging
I
Miss
do.
Mindy.
See?
No, I
See?
enjoy it.
Yeah.
He
This
can't
is my
handle, You
family.
got like a 7-minute timer before he's like, but did you hear what she just said?
Mhm. I had another client that was dating a boy, and they were talking, and he sent a video of his mom that was on like a TV show that was in a throuple, like, and I was like showing her whole family and all this, and I was like this.
the friend's mom was?
So the girl,
His mom.
the girl was dating
He
a boy,
sent
like talking
his
to a boy,
mom's video.
and he was in the video. Like I was like,
That you didn't say the first time.
yeah, the kids were in the video, yeah. No, like
This
a dirty
wasn't
video.
them actually
No.
having
Yeah.
sex. It was
I
their
need
They were on a
relationship.
TV show.
Clarification,
They were on a TV show. I'm sorry.
Clarification.
Yeah, they were on a TV show. So he
Okay.
sent a link to the video.
We're sending my mom's
I
like,
thought it
home
was
videos
like
of her and
a incest video of my stepmom and me
No.
and my sister. And, okay,
No.
so backtrack.
Mom had 2 dudes, and she was on a TV show, like a Maury Povich show or whatever. Not,
Okay.
yeah. And this girl was like, "What the fuck?" And I was
I
like,
have to say, first
So
of all,
just
if someone's
family
on Maury
dynamics.
Povich, then it's like, whew, I'm backing away.
and it wasn't Maury Povich. It was just like another type of one of those shows.
Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer.
It wasn't that, but it was just one of those shows. So I
Dr.
was just like,
Phil.
holy shit.
I can't do
But
stuff
he
like that.
sent that to her?
Mm-hmm.
That like, hey,
What was-
before you
what was
come
his
to
goal?
Thanksgiving.
It might get weird to have
Oh.
2 dads.
Well, that could be informational.
We're having
that
spit
could be
roast,
helpful.
spit roast mom for dinner.
If it's not like, why are you looking at me like that?
Because she's not trying to look over here
This
and
idea
laugh
of
super hard.
this is what you're going to be getting into.
That's the
I
way you
want to make
communicate it.
Was that that's how he told her?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, why not? Just get break the egg, right? Fuck it.
By
Let's do
the
Like
it.
way-
they match on Bumble, and he's like, "I need a date for Thanksgiving because my mom won't get off my back." And she's like, "Okay, LOL." And then
Hey,
he
yo, girl.
sends her this video,
Yeah.
and he's like, Sup? Turkey stuffing, mashed potatoes.
If that's just what he's wanting, I just want someone to come with me, then this is what you're going.
That's all Mom wants.
I don't know. I guess it all
I
depends.
know. Seasonal boyfriend. I saw a TikTok about that the other day. I don't think I sent it to you.
No.
Where they were like having an interview that they're like, I just need you to like for like 4 to 6 weeks.
That's it.
Can you
Rent a
answer
boyfriend.
these questions appropriately?
I can make some side
I
cash.
can offer you these things.
I'm in.
That's totally different. If we're offering money,
Right.
Food.
it's a whole,
Good
whole
food.
different level.
Food, room and board,
Some liquor.
liquor, potential for like a long-term position if the
Yeah.
short-term position.
I'm
you know,
out.
like
You had me at the first half.
yeah. Like a temp service.
Still feeling very transactional,
A
very,
gimp service.
very sex worker-ish to me. Like,
Don't make it dirty, Mindy. Jeez. Just kidding.
that's what makes it dirty.
No.
They don't have to have sex.
They just want their parents.
Food and room and board.
Dude, the girl I tattooed today says that everybody in her family are, because they're a religious family and everybody's already married, and they go, every time they see her, they're like, so you're just too picky.
Right.
Oh,
And I
You
was
need
like,
to hurry up and have kids.
I go, stay the fuck away from that.
what is the goal?
Every time.
Stay away from that.
What
Every
is the
time.
goal?
I have 2 people on my caseload right now that hear that. They're dreading the holidays because they're like, I'm going to show up. This will be the first year in a couple years that they didn't have like a person
Yeah.
to bring.
Bring 2.
And they're like, I already know. It's going to be like, you're too picky. You need to settle down. You're going to be so old by the time you meet somebody, get engaged, get married, have kids. You're going to like,
It's miserable. Stop doing
Or you can hurry up and then be divorced.
that. Yeah.
the unfortunate
years.
part is one of them is divorced. That she's like, I did the things. I met somebody in high school. I got married in college. We were both in, like, he was in the military. Like, I did
The thing.
all of the things, and it didn't work because we grew up.
Mhm.
And so now I've grown up and had to do the hardest thing thus far in my life.
She had her practice. husband.
Right. And now I'm looking for what I learned, and you guys are telling me that that's too much.
Tell people to fuck off. Mind their business.
I tell them that all
I
the
would
time.
I would want to ask
Reserve
them,
your
like,
fucks. That's what I tell
and,
people.
And what is your goal for me to hurry up and settle down?
You
What is
just
it that-
want grandchildren?
What is it that you want for me?
Grandkids.
Okay.
A lot of people are like,
I've
people
heard
in
that a
their
lot.
30s are
I've heard that a
super
lot.
heavy. Like their parents are like, when are you going to have kids?
I would be
I
like,
think it's a super
go find
intergenerational
a
issue
family who
of like,
doesn't have
why
support.
why are you living vicariously
I can tell
through
you the best
my
answer.
grandchildren?
I can tell you the best answer that'll make them always stop.
Hmm.
I'll let you know when I'm going to let somebody ejaculate inside me.
You are all about
But it will literally make that
the
I would
blunt
say
part
that.
of sex.
How fast would you
Yeah.
think Mom would shut the fuck up? Do it right at turkey table. What's up? You know what I mean?
you know, that's what I would do.
I know.
Love that shit.
He's like, that's so weird that people are like, when are you going to let somebody come inside of you?
Because that's what they're asking.
Because that's weird. I know.
That's what they're asking.
That's
When are you
where I
gonna
go.
have
Hey,
babies?
What
buddy, you
is
going to
the
hurry up
goal?
and come in my daughter? Come on. What have you been doing? Just shooting blanks
What,
up
what
in her?
position are you doing?
Get them britches off. Come
Put
on.
her legs up.
God damn, boy. Knock this bitch up first date. Been stuck with her ever since. I just want you to be miserable
Weird.
just like
It
me.
is weird.
But that is the implicit message.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All the time.
I love saying it to people. They shut the fuck up. It's like when people go, Thomas, do you know how many babies are aborted? I go, not enough. And they leave me the fuck alone. I don't give a fuck about abortion, one way or the other. I don't care. It's not my shit. I don't abort babies. I'm good. If you do, cool. I
It's
don't
not your
care.
fight. Yeah,
no,
right,
but
yeah.
they just know immediately, like, he's not the one. When you say shit like that, they're just like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, we good? We good? Just leave me the fuck alone. Why are you talking to me about this? Fuck, I'm not a priest. Back down. So listen, if somebody's asking you, when are you going to have kids, go, I'll let you know when I let somebody ejaculate in me, or I'm going to ejaculate
When I
in somebody.
find a sperm donor,
I would say it's so brutally.
that I would put my legs up in the air on my headboard for the next 2 hours after sex.
Right, I can't
I'll
wait.
let you know. I'll text you
I cannot wait
while I'm laying there.
to breed bad.
All right, so we're going to get to kink or what?
Yeah, Mindy just wants the kink. That's her Christmas
Tis
present
the
to herself.
season.
He
Tis
said
the
for kink.
season to
Thanks,
improve
Michael.
your sex life. So I do think I would say the more crucial of the two. So the one is more fun, right?
The one on the right?
Yeah, the kink that
I
we've
don't
never heard
fucking
of.
know if it's more fun.
I can't even
How about we bounce back and
read
forth?
some of this. I think the more helpful would be how to
I think we've helped enough people
explain.
this year.
No, it's
Hey.
the end of the year.
I gotta interrupt everybody. So
What?
listen, I was playing
What's
a
new?
show on Wednesday. What's new? I know. I'm doing really good now. I've been working on it. So Wednesday we played a show, and Mike was there, and a guy walked up to me and he's like, "Hey man, I listen to your podcast all the time. I don't listen to podcasts, and I didn't think I needed therapy, but I might. But I really appreciate it, and I really like listening to what you guys are doing. It really is helpful."
Did he call me?
It was super sweet. He might have. I don't know. But it was Mike was
Counselor Kelly.
standing there. But yeah. Call 234-200-5949. Put the number up. I was
I
like,
have two people from the podcast now.
but he
Really?
but he was so
That's
thankful.
awesome.
You know what I mean? And it was so nice. And Mike was standing there, and I was like, see, Mike, it's like doing what
We're
it's supposed to
helping.
do.
We're helping.
Growing. All right, go ahead. Let's talk
So-
about kink.
All I want for Christmas is
My two front kink.
An orgasm?
an orgasm.
I don't.
I want an orgasm under the Christmas tree.
Jesus. I
Under the
don't.
mistletoe?
Under the mistletoe.
Where are you kissing?
Did you guys put your trees
I'm not
up?
kissing. No, I get a
Yeah.
real tree. It can't go up yet. It'll die.
I do not. I'm lazy.
Did you put one up yet?
Only because
That's
I have
okay.
a,
You don't get a real tree. There's no way in hell.
I have 5 kids. So getting them all home on one day so that nobody's pissed that I'm doing it with like I did one year I wasn't able to and I did it without my daughter. She was so hurt
Really?
that I will never put up a tree without my kids again. So I've just told them this, like, we're going to do it the day after Thanksgiving because everybody's already
way
off.
it's
You guys are
standard,
home from school, whatever. We go to the Hallmark store. We get our ornaments for that year.
That's cute.
We go home.
I talked to
we
my
put up
daughter
the
today
tree
about it.
and-
I go, when do you want to do it? You know what I mean? She goes, you're going to put one up? I was like, yep.
Do you not usually?
Yeah, I usually do, but
Oh.
Is it a baby tree? You look like a person that does half a tree.
I bought
Charlie
a really
Brown
nice tree
tree.
last year. I bought
Uh-huh.
a really nice one.
A full-size one?
Beautiful.
You better about it now.
I was with somebody who
Mhm.
decorated trees better than
Uh-huh.
any human I've ever met. They're
Enjoyed it
beautiful.
more.
No, I
now
loved
you're-
it. I've always decorated trees.
Oh, okay.
I always put lights up in my house. I love it. I love when you walk in your house and it's just Christmas lights.
I can't wait. I'm deep cleaning my house right now. So we go out and like chop down a tree as a family and like bring it in. And so Andrew this weekend was like, could we do it tomorrow? And I was like, no, it will not live that long. Like we have a fireplace which dries out the tree. And I'm like, we have to wait another week or two and gotta wait. And I have to like super clean before all the
Super
needles
clean.
fall off. I got 2 puppies.
So, I get it.
They're
So
gonna attack the tree.
What kind of
It's-
kinks below your tree?
Okay, so tree kink.
So how to explain your fetish to your partner? So I would like to expand this a little bit because we have been talking about kinks for sure, but I feel in relation to just like relationships, like explaining your needs to your partner is important. So it says explain that you're sharing from a place of trust and intimacy.
Make an appointment. Make an appointment with your partner to start with the whole like, hey, I'd really like to have a conversation about something that I think could be exciting for us. I'm a little nervous about it because it's big stuff. So I want to know when would be a good time that we could talk about this, that you might feel open to hearing what I have to say.
It says, don't open with something like, hey, so have you ever dated a guy with a foot fetish?
Why?
Not
That's not a good way.
Not the way to go. At
Do
5
you
o'clock
like the
over
taste of
dinner.
toe jam?
Right.
No. No.
It says, I want you to
like
know, here's an alternative. I want you to know that I trust you, and that's why I feel comfortable telling you about my sexual
Oh shit.
inclinations. I hope you can appreciate that. So coming from a place of vulnerability and saying like, listen, I feel comfortable with you.
Right.
A lot of people kind of approach this conversation with not high expectations, right? Like, I'm going to put this out there, and if
Probably
you're
gonna
not
get
okay
shot
with
down.
it,
Yeah.
that's okay, because I don't want to make you uncomfortable, but this is something that could
I'm gonna take my shot.
intensify my experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of this is like a soft no, right? Like, I've never done it before,
Could you be open to this?
but I could see a world in which...
Or even just like, hey, let's take this little test. This seems like this could be fun.
yeah.
Let's see what things
Let
we're
me
open to.
process. Let me chew on that for a little bit.
Although,
and like,
I don't know that the list thing is good just between two partners without an intermediary who can say, like, I want you to really be able to say what you want, and so I'm going to take your lists, and I'm only going to share with you what you both agree on, or that you both might be open to, so that nobody
That could
feels.
ruin a pretty decent relationship.
oh yeah.
Well,
I have
not only that, but just the idea that if I have something that's really like
way off your list.
right, then I'm not going to say yes because that's too vulnerable.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say I want it, but then I'm not going to know that you're interested or not.
Yeah. So I have had that situation specifically when like,
And you have to have a right-in space.
yeah, when sexual issues come up, right? So somebody says that they are greatly unsatisfied with their sex life, or somebody says that they feel significantly betrayed by the pornography usage of their partner. Like, usually that's where the gap is, that I'm like, let's tease this out a little bit. And sometimes I do have people who are super big into XYZ. Let's say they're top 3. And they will email me their results and be like, please do not share these. Like, they're mortified and embarrassed and feel guilty. But working with the two of them, I'm like, I don't know that they would
Freak out.
freak out so much as, like, if they're comfortable with just, let's say, C, that's it, not A or B, but C, and they understand that A and B are like attractive to you, maybe that would be their understanding or their empathy for pornography, or like there could be some sort of gray area.
Like you subcontract
Well,
it out.
here's the thing.
and
What is
like-
going on with your relationship that you are, well, first, what is going on with you that you're mortified by something that turns you on?
Well, that could be
Yeah.
a million different
Like,
things, from how you're raised,
Absolutely.
how someone else
But,
spoke to you.
but that's what we
Yeah.
have to understand. We have to understand why that is so that we can help you learn to be comfortable
Yeah.
in your own needs.
Yeah. It's
And in your own
most
pleasure.
commonly a top or bottom situation, a dom or sub situation for me, is like, they're like, oh, I want you to hurt me or belittle me, and like, I feel very uncomfortable asking you to do that, or vice versa.
Right.
Because they're like,
The
I don't.
humiliation ones
Yeah,
are hard.
Yeah. Or they're like, I'm afraid that you're going to think I want to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hurt you. I love you, but this just does something for me.
And I think that people don't understand that, like, BDSM, and if people are doing it right, it's the safest kind of play that you can do.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have talked about everything, and you have listed all the things that you're okay with, that you're not okay. And every time you engage in that, you sit down and you have your script.
Mm-hmm.
It's
This
like
is
a
what we're
stunt
going to
team
do.
versus Jackass,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Very lay term metaphor. I love it.
Yeah. No, I have a couple right now that met on a fetish app
Oh, nice.
who has not engaged in a while.
Okay.
And their wording was that they do not feel comfortable and confident in their own skin right now individually, so they are not able to safely engage
Super
in
healthy.
their play.
Super healthy.
And absolutely, I'm like, I fucking love you for that. Like, I love the fact
Yes.
that both of you guys are able to say,
Not a good time.
yeah, I'm
not in a good
I'm not the
headspace.
best version of myself. I'm not the version that you met then. Not that I'm a bad version now, but sexually I am not there. That's all.
Yeah.
This is not good time. This
That's
is not the season for it.
Yeah. They're like trying to have a baby soon.
With
So
each
they're like,
other.
yeah. So they're like, maybe not the like sub-dom type of
They're slowing it
time
down.
right now. Like
Or maybe they're
we
not
have
as,
other.
like, they're not as fucked up as, I won't say you're fucked up because you're into that, but like, Kind of goes hand in hand.
no, but
Both
like
of them explained that like there was a trust in the unknown. I didn't owe you shit. If I didn't want to sleep with you anymore, if I never want to I never wanted to see you anymore, I didn't have to.
Yeah. Now they're in
There
love.
is a shift. Yeah, now they're in love and they're together and they live together and now they're married and they're like it's a transitional period to be able to say there is an on and off switch for play. There are times where I'm in the mood and I hope that you're in the mood, but going to a dungeon, obviously anybody who's there is in the mood. That's why they're there.
Yeah.
And so we have to have open communication in a different way now, which I can appreciate.
That's pretty
like
good.
I like to have my clients use emojis for that. Like have their set emojis that are their signals that they can send to someone.
Man, that could get funny.
Interesting.
I'm trying to think.
Obviously, like not the typical ones.
No, but they have set ones, right? Like I had, it's, sometimes it starts small with like, I need to talk to you about something, but I'm really scared to tell you that I want to talk. So they sent a candle emoji to their partner to let them know that,
Like a light.
yeah.
Yeah.
That I'm signaling you to
putting
let
the
you know
signal
that
out, right, yeah.
I like that.
that I need something from you right now, and can you?
I would just send the cactus one.
I'm feeling prickly.
I'm like this. Just kind of don't touch me. Leave me alone.
That's awesome.
That's a red light. We're talking about green lights.
It's a green cactus.
Well, I think
Leave me alone with a smile.
I think a cactus would be great. Like, I'm feeling prickly, leave me alone. And I'd be
Sure.
like, I can totally get behind
Sounds great.
that. Mm-hmm.
I love a good cactus. I don't need to touch you.
Bingo.
You can still stay in my house, though. I like to look at them.
I like it. Next.
That's what you want, eye candy. You're just eye candy. I'll just look at you.
That's where I'm at. If you're worried about being judged, say so.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
huge.
That's
Like
what I
getting
said, right?
ahead of the
There's something I
vulnerability.
want to
Like,
tell you,
right,
but
yeah.
it feels very vulnerable, and so I want to know when you can be in a good space to
you're not
not
a
make fun
cactus.
of me, right? Like
No, I have, again, worked with quite a few couples working up to this transparency that, like, I do break out sometimes, right? Like, I have a couple and they're like, there's this thing, and I'm like, okay, well, I can see you both, but I need to make sure that it's even. So, like, I'll see you today, I'll see you tomorrow, and then we'll come back together next week.
And how are we going to bring this back into joint sessions?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it often is this. There is something that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the words to say or like how to approach it.
Right.
And then I get to take in like, okay, well, this is what you want to share. And I would say 8 times out of 10, the other person was like, I know something's wrong. I think it's me. I think they're going to leave. And in my clinical brain, I'm like, oh my God, if you just knew that he wanted to like put it in your butt, it wouldn't even be that big of a deal. Like,
Well, and that's what the thing is with the
It is
unknown.
not that
That's
big
why
of a
if you
deal.
don't communicate, people fill in the blanks.
yeah,
and
they don't
fill in
want
the
to sleep
blanks
with anybody
words.
else. They
Well, not
just want to.
that. You got to think that these people are living together. They have
Yes.
utilities together.
Yes.
They don't want to move because they.
No.
Like, if I say the wrong thing to you, now you're saying we're done. You're a fucking weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks. Now I got to move.
Oh.
Then I got to show up at somebody else's house for Thanksgiving, getting hammered drunk. I did that one time, and I can't believe you brought that up here. I'm kidding. That was not me.
What's that word?
Oh, fuck.
What's number 3? I need you to say that you don't know either.
It's a metal band from Norway.
Where is it?
Number 3, over here.
Demystify is where am I on the wrong
Thank
thing?
you.
Where am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why she's a doctor.
DYM.
Demystify.
Demystify.
See?
Yeah.
That's my rap name.
Take the.
Yo,
Take the-
demystify.
Oh, okay. Mystify. Okay, so demystify kinks, fetishes with details and context. It says, I know
Specific.
this
right?
might be strange to hear, but it's something that I got into a few years ago. Ever since then, I've been really interested in X. It just arouses me so much.
Mhm.
So
This is why
preemptively
it
taking
feels
some
exciting.
of like the
telling them why it's
stigma
important
and
to
right,
you,
yeah.
so that they're not like,
Context.
what is this? Yes.
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
comes up quite a bit.
Have you guys ever talked to your listeners about like consent, like Fry's consent, like the
Nope.
so what consent is when you're having
Oh,
sex?
please share.
Okay. So fries. Fries is the acronym for this, right? So
Mike was in there getting hungry as fuck.
is it?
French fries.
And I suddenly just lost what the
Sorry.
first one is.
Do you want me to look it up?
Fucking Thomas.
Oh my gosh. Freely. It's given freely. So if you're consenting to have sex,
You just
then
hand it out.
it's-
Just you can do it. Sounds
here's
great.
sex for you, and
Like
freely. This
Oprah
is
Winfrey?
something that is not coerced.
Right. Yeah.
That I am doing this without any fear of any kind of repercussions if I don't.
Right. No
So-
expectations. No. Right.
Right. Freely
I
given.
want to.
R is reversible. So at any time I can take my consent back if I'm not feeling comfortable, or if I just change my mind.
Sure.
That it's reversible. I can take it back. Just because I said that I want to do it, even if we're in the middle of it, I can just say, wait, this isn't,
Never mind.
I want to stop.
Yeah.
I want to stop. And that's okay. That's where, right, the freely given
What if
comes
you're
in.
just tired?
Sure.
Again, reversible.
Right, yeah.
Like
I'm exhausted. I don't have another hour. That's it. Tapping out.
the
Call her.
clients-
Can I tap her in?
falling asleep in the middle of
This
it.
is where the throuple comes in handy.
It's
Right.
a real thing.
And,
The trouble.
and by the way, do you have permission to keep going if your partner falls asleep? Yes.
Mhm, that's a real conversation.
Yeah, I've had it.
Often. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
If I come to bed and you're already sleeping, can I?
no, like fell asleep after
Yeah.
after penetration.
Yeah.
Like-
right. I'm exhausted. I don't care if you just do what you got to do.
Do you keep going?
Boys? Jeez, Chelsea.
Thomas
Yeah.
knew the boys were not. I have had the conversation about not about falling asleep during, but being asleep when the other partner comes to bed due to like scheduling differences.
Yeah, are you okay if after you fall asleep that I
Can
follow you and do
X,
stuff?
Y,
And,
Z, to myself, to you, to whatever.
yeah.
And
I'm more concerned with the falling asleep during. What's going on?
I
Are we
would
talking
imagine it's
drinking?
substance induced.
Yes. Okay, next.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like,
So, yeah, so
this-
reversible,
Oh yeah, fries.
I is informed. So we're making sure that we know exactly what we're getting into. If someone has an STD and they don't tell their partner,
right.
that consent would have maybe been different if they
Sure.
had been informed.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that the person knows exactly what they're getting into. We've put it all on the table. We know what's going on, and that you've informed consent. Right? That's big for
Let
clients.
us know
like-
if you have any bugs.
well, not
That's
just
come
that,
up with
but
like
just
gender.
what's going on.
also.
Yeah, yeah, and so, yeah, and so enthusiastic is E. So enthusiastic that this
Love it.
person,
Not just saying yes,
not
but they
just
want
like
to.
okay.
Yeah.
Just get it over
That's
with.
what I tell
Yeah,
my
like-
boys, like my boys all the time. I'm like, just saying yes is not enough anymore. If they don't seem as enthusiastic and excited as you are, don't fucking touch it.
I always say
Like,
they have to touch it twice before I think it's a green light.
There you go.
Is that fair?
Well, yeah, and I've had
Well, I would still just
conversations
say,
with
like,
people like, listen,
still ask.
regret and rape are two very different things.
Well, turn hard left.
What?
Not if we're talking about consent.
Not talking about consent. I have had multiple conversations with male and female people who are like, I think they forced me to, or I think they coerced me into it. And I'm like, okay, so walk me through it. While also, like, obviously the social worker is coming, like I'm reporting it to the right people,
Yeah.
but they're like, well, they said this and I did this, and then afterwards they didn't call me, or afterwards I got grounded from coming home late. These are adolescents.
Okay,
You
I was
know.
like, what?
Well, even so, like
the
with my
majority
students,
of my
I have to go over the law, and I have to
Yeah.
right, because they're mandated reporters. They're going to be
Right.
mandated reporters, so I have to go in and go over the law and say what is a crime and what is not a
Yeah,
crime, and
right.
you might be surprised at what isn't an actual crime
Didn't
or
call
what
you back
things
isn't a
are
crime.
a crime.
yeah, sure.
Right?
But like I've had
if you
multiple,
say
and it
yes,
gets so messy. Like
even if it's a coerced crime, like even if it's a coerced yes, if you give in and you say yes,
you
it's abuse.
verbally give it, yeah.
But it's probably
Coercion and
not
everything,
not
yeah.
a crime. If
Jail
someone is
time?
if someone is
Probably not. Right, yeah.
pestering you but hasn't threatened you, like
not a kid asking
then
for
it's
ice
not
cream.
coercive.
No, right.
Like it's
yeah.
by definition of the law,
Right.
it's not coercive.
And if you said yes and then halfway through didn't want to,
And you said no, and
changed
they
your
kept going, and they
mind,
didn't
right,
let
and
you
then
stop.
They didn't, right, yeah, it's
Then that becomes forceful, and that becomes rape.
right.
even if you're in the middle of it
Mm-hmm.
and you say stop and there's some kind of physical restraint to
So-
not stop.
So the E is enthusiasm and
E
the
is
S.
enthusiastic, S is specific.
Mm.
So you want to make sure that everybody knows what you're agreeing to.
Mm.
So if I'm agreeing to,
Vaginal sex.
right, then you can't turn around and
Right.
put it in their ass,
Right. Yeah.
right? Like
that's
and say like,
Why are you looking at me?
because you're so quiet
I'm
and so
I'm being
uncomfortable.
very.
I know.
I'm being. Look at me. I'm
but I guess
growing.
like this is my issue. Is like
This
you're
is serious
being
conversation.
quiet.
Like I like
as-
joking a lot, but
I
like
know.
this is like
All right.
when you're talking about somebody giving consent for stuff. Like I think a lot of people need to hear this, and I can't even really joke about this kind of shit because I have 3
appreciate
daughters,
that. Yeah.
and not just daughters, sons. Like I don't have any sons, but I'm saying like young
grandsons,
men.
yeah.
But I think men and women both need to understand this. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
Yes.
I can remember being a young man, and I was so probably on the spectrum that I was so obsessed with the things I was obsessed with, which wasn't girls. And there was girls that were at my house that were being so grabby and weird with me, and I'm like, why are you touching
Like,
me?
why?
Like
Stop. Right.
And I know that sounds crazy, but like most guys were like, that'd be fucking dope. That's the shit. And I was like,
but that's a lot of narratives.
dude, I was
for
just
young
trying
men.
to like
that's still sexual
read guitar
battery.
magazines.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are you in my room for?
Right.
You know?
Well, and like, or I thought we were playing video games,
Yeah, I don't do that.
and now it's getting dark. Or like, I thought I was. Well, but like, I thought I was
specific.
just
I agreed
playing,
to a massage. I did not
Right.
agree.
I agree to
to
butt
I was
stuff.
playing
Don't
the
touch me where I pee.
I was playing the guitar for you.
Yes.
I was not trying to woo you.
I was sitting on the counter. I can
That
remember
was
playing
it,
this day.
yeah.
And I was like, why are you, this is like,
Stop it.
it just goes to
Well,
me.
and
Uh-oh, Mike, sexual harassment.
well, it's not enthusiastic for one thing. If someone does not want that,
yeah, read
then
the room.
They don't
it's not-
reciprocate.
if they're
Girl
not
let you know.
reciprocating, if they've told you no, if it's unwanted, then there's not that enthusiasm. There's not.
Well, there's body language, right? Like the nonverbals you have to read. If they're tense,
Mm.
Mike's talking this, by the way. If you're in somebody's personal space, Michael, I believe if you're into somebody's personal space and they've told you, like, hey, I'm not comfortable with you being that close to me, you're creepy, you're touching me where you're touching me at all, when it's not appropriate for you to touch me. We're talking about,
And
like,
if you're at work, if
that's not
you
a
don't have a
dating
safe
situation.
work environment, then that's not okay.
well, so I've worked for a couple different corporations, and what they're asking, I know they can't hear us,
can't
right?
hear us.
Like, so they're asking about like where the line is in like a corporate or work environment.
Sexual harassment.
Yeah, sexual harassment specifically. And I think the important thing to remember is there are things that are unethical that would deem appropriate for like a write-up or like some sort of consequence, and things that are like illegal. So you can make a coworker uncomfortable and have some sort of reprimand, right? Of like a conversation in order to redirect your behavior that maybe was not ill-intended, versus there is a line where like, no, that we're now incorporating. Yeah, we're incorporating
sexual
HR
imposition. Is the crime in which somebody is touching somebody's.
I put my hand on
genitalia.
Mike's leg twice, and he's bringing this up. I just can't. I'm kidding.
Right.
It wasn't twice. It was way more.
But like on
Did he call
all
HR?
of the
I'm HR, so
he
it
is
sucks.
HR. It's unfortunate, right?
That's not a
like, there's-
good environment.
Every training I've taken is like somebody has a, let's say, like bikini model calendar in their cubicle, right? That's like sexually explicit. There's no nudity, but like it makes people uncomfortable.
Or they pee.
Or they're in the group text and they send something that's like a
Inappropriate.
little icky, like not grossly inappropriate, but like it's,
Yeah.
you know, whatever. And those are usually the things that are like, you need to go to HR, you need to go to your supervisor, you need to make people aware that this makes you uncomfortable. Is it illegal? And like by law? No.
Inappropriate.
But if it's documented multiple times and it becomes a pattern of behavior, yeah, because they've talked to you. So I think it is.
Yeah.
It's gray, in my opinion, because it's all relative to what people's boundaries are.
And it goes back to consent, right? Like, have I
Right.
agreed to it? If I've made it known that I'm uncomfortable with that,
I'm not consenting to getting
Right.
that to my phone.
Then
We've
it's-
had
then
that
it's
conversation.
no longer okay.
Like,
Yeah, I'm
you
not into
send
it.
fucked up shit to my phone, I'm not okay with it. Whether I
don't send
work
fucked
with
up
you,
shit. I was like,
right?
wait, there-
No, but I'm just saying, like,
No, I don't.
Thomas, stop it.
there
I don't.
is difficulty in the world that we live in that you cannot just like, if you get a spam email, you have the option of clicking on the link or not clicking on the
100%.
link, right? Like, think of 20 years ago. Like, you can be like, oh, that's probably a virus.
Yeah.
Somebody sends you
Well,
a text and you click on it because you don't know what the hell they're sending you, and now your girlfriend or your wife or your husband or your boyfriend or your child is sitting next to
It's
you.
inappropriate.
It's not okay. It's not okay because there is not the opportunity for consent in those situations.
Or you're teaching a virtual class and it pops up on your computer while you're sharing your screen.
I would love
Holy
to hear that
shit.
story
When did you
next
teach?
time you're on.
Oh my god. All right, next one.
All right. It says start small. How many are there? Oh, there's only 6. This is number 4. Start small and ease into the conversation gradually. So it says,
With the finger.
yes, pinky. Smallest finger you have. So it says, so I find it really hot when women walk on me with high heels. Could you do that sometime? I'm a little bit bitter that I'm reading these out loud. So,
Hi.
This is planned.
because I want you to read it because he's talking to a
That's
woman,
fucked
I'm
up.
going to assume. Maybe that's sexist.
Mm-hmm.
So saying like, I find it attractive or arousing when this happens, period. Would you feel comfortable doing that at some point?
Open-ended.
Makes it a much more, yeah,
Or what would that be like for you?
right.
How would that make you, or how does it make you feel when I said that?
Tell me.
Well, and a lot of couples that I have we have this type of discussion. And the other person typically isn't against it.
They never thought about it.
Even if it doesn't do anything for them, they're like,
There's a lot
if
of
it
things in
does something for
relationships
you,
that-
like, I mean, like,
Right. There are so many things that it's like, never thought about it. I don't think that would work for me, but if you're into it,
it wouldn't bother
can
me.
be down.
That's usually what it is. Like, that wouldn't be a turn off or bother me. So if
Right.
it does something for you,
100%.
things that do things for you do things for me. What?
She's worse than me. I love it. I love it's not just me.
we were talking, my 14-year-old, right, today, we were in the car because we took a long drive, right?
She's going to
So
turn it
best time-
personal. Go
I'll just
ahead.
be quiet.
No, go ahead.
So we got on this conversation because we went down to visit my older daughter. She forgot something, so we
Oh, that's
drove
right. You
down
said
to
that
give
you
her
had to go down
her
and bring it.
notebook. And when we were leaving, and I laughed and I said, "Do you know that when the first time I came down here to meet her friends, that her friends thought I was gay because of my hair?" Right? And my daughter was like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, it's obviously that's a natural thing. Like I get that all the
You
time.
have a rainbow
Like,
on your head. Right,
Everybody assumes, right, that I'm in the LGBTQ community." And so she's like, "Well, like I kind of
I can see that.
thought, like I wondered at one point," and I was like, "You do know you can ask me about that, right? Like you can ask me anything." And
Sure.
she's like, "Well," and I was like, I said, "Women don't, like I don't get excited by women, but I can't say that like I would never, like
they're,
if
they're not a turn off.
Right, like
or
if-
like a hard,
like if I
they're
met
hard, no, they're a hard no.
if I met the right woman and like it did something for me that I wouldn't necessarily be."
I can't imagine your children.
My conversations with my kids. So she was like, "Okay."
How does that look like to you?
What would that look like? What would your ideal woman look like, Mindy, if you could
And that's what I
construct
said.
one?
Like, I don't know because, like I said, like I don't know what I don't know. Like I don't
It hasn't happened yet, but
Right.
like, yeah,
Right, but I would hope.
you could see a world
'cause
in
that's what
which
you-
maybe that like,
I said, like, I find women's bodies beautiful. I find them
Sure.
sexy, but they don't do it for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't
Make you feel weird
sexual.
it doesn't make me tingle. hmm Sorry.
Thomas
You're
is
good.
prompting.
I'm not. No, I just know we're.
I know Thomas would like the conversations I have with my
Mindy's
kids.
back.
No,
We have to,
I like
know.
it. I love it.
Ask
I
about
had
your.
that's not a similar conversation. With my
No,
daughter.
you have not. No.
No?
Ask about your partner's fantasies.
hmm
This is usually, honestly, the barrier that I come to with clients and couples is they can have these hard stop, soft stop conversations.
Hypotheticals.
But fantasies are difficult. Like that, and maybe that's why it's number 5 of 6, right? Like you've had all of these other conversations leading up
That's where
to this.
to
Start slowly.
Right. We're starting slowly, and it kind of gets to, the Friends episode where it's like, if you could dress up like this and say these things, that would be great. And the other person's like, makes sense. Like, I've
All the
seen you
clues
watch,
have been
right?
there.
I've seen you watch Indiana Jones 47 times. So like, Star Wars makes sense.
Yeah. I might have watched Jumanji.
Who doesn't
a
have the
lot.
Princess Leia, like,
Right.
yeah,
Oh no.
gold bikini?
Jeez.
Speaking
Space
of,
buttons. They're not on either side. So that is usually, I think, for me clinically, that is usually a milestone that we get to that is representative of like progress. That we have now
That's
created a
vulnerability.
culture of safety,
Trust.
yes, and trust. That we have talked about the daily, the expectations, the exceptional, and now we're talking about like the, birthday sex.
The stuff. The special occasion stuff.
so how much do you like elephants?
Have you ever thought of? So number 6, there's more than 6. I lied. There's 7. 6 is emphasize. I know. Emphasize that this won't change your relationship. That's a. I would like
We're
to
all
say
like
that's
this.
a
You cannot,
I mean,
you cannot guarantee that.
Bullshit.
How can it not change your relationship?
So
It can change it for the better. It can change it for the worse. Like, that's growing
It's-
together. And that can really bring you closer.
it is
Or it can,
erasing the line. It's like this whole website, I guess, sets the expectation that we're not crossing a line. We are erasing and reestablishing a line.
I like that.
So if we're having conversation about like, hey, this arouses me. Hey, how would you feel if someday? Hey,
okay,
this
so
is like
conversation, this doesn't change anything if we have this conversation.
yeah. And if we try it
That's cute.
in a
Well, the conversation doesn't have.
I
Again,
like
doesn't have
I
to.
like that
Yeah,
you can
it
have a
shouldn't
conversation
have
that doesn't,
to.
but
right.
I hear
Well,
him being
and-
like, in theory.
Well, listen, because what he's saying is women turn around 30
Thomas.
seconds later and text their best friend and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this guy just asked me to blah, 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 blah.
Thomas, I don't know who you've been dating,
no one.
but I have to tell you that as I've listened to some of these,
I listened
I'm like,
to a-
who the are you dating?
No, I hear a lot of people talk. I mean, it's more them. I mean, honestly, I don't have these kind of
I
like,
know.
issues.
I
but
know.
it's more when I hear people talk and they're like, they want this and they want. I'm like, well, they're just trying to be honest with you, and you say you want them to be open with you, but not only open with what you want them to be open with, or like,
Well,
what's the deal?
and I think
It
so.
scares
I was
people.
just talking about feelings.
Right, right.
I think that so in my current marriage, this is the first relationship that I have been able to have like a
Real.
grown up conversation. And myself
There's a very big reason
okay,
for that for
all
you.
right, right. Mature, honest conversation. Myself, people in my personal life that like are my peers as well as colleagues and clients. I feel like a lot of people desire this level of intimacy, but are scared that like if I say these things to you,
I could have to move.
I could have to move, or you're going to try and it's going to make you uncomfortable. I really feel like that's best case scenario, right? Like I tell you these things and you try to meet my needs, but it makes you uncomfortable, and then what? Because now you know that I have a need that you can't fill, and so
Right. Well, it's that thing, like, do you want to know what's behind the curtain? Because once you see what's behind the curtain,
scary.
once you know the truth, you can't unknow.
yeah. And as
truth.
partner A, do you need partner B to fulfill this for you, or is this a solo thing? Like, not everything has to be shared.
Or is there a way that we can, like, if you have a thing about watching your partner sleep with somebody else, but partner's not okay with sleeping with someone else, do you get a doll?
Yeah.
And then you watch your
is there
partner with a
option C?
toy, right?
There could be. I can imagine.
Absolutely.
But that's a lot
All
of
the time.
communication.
But that's the communication of what part is it and what part are you okay and what are you not? Where's your
Dolls,
boundary?
toys,
So can we
videos.
Talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk.
can we use a little bit more of our imagination with some of this other stuff with props that help us to get the same
closer?
feel?
Right. Like, could we experiment with that? Right.
Yeah.
That is.
Could you just stand in the corner and do that thing where you put your arms behind you and you look like you're making out with somebody? Just start.
I love you for that.
Just start.
All right, last one,
I
and
went
then
to the
we'll
corner and
then
all I
we'll
could think
wrap
was the
up.
Blair Witch dolls.
Jeez,
Happy
whatever you're
holidays,
into.
guys. It is Tuesday.
I
go to
Dark Tuesday.
Kink
We
and
made it
murder.
all the way through.
We did good. We were doing good.
Oh, I like number 7. Number
Sorry.
7 is on a good note. Thank them for listening and being understanding.
Yes.
That
Bank them?
thank them.
Oh, sorry.
Thank them for listening.
If that's the kink.
And understanding. I do think that is big. And I
That
think
is
a lot of
huge.
times we have these conversations in session after having a questionnaire or after having some sort of like survey or something like
Heavy.
and they do send them to me, and I say, I don't know if this is something that you guys should discuss outside of this safe space that we have all created and agreed upon.
Not on Reddit.
Well, sometimes people get antsy, right? And they're like, well, we can share these things and then we'll talk to Kelly on Tuesday.
They're feeling
and
so
I'm like,
vulnerable and they want to get that over with. They want to stop having that
right.
vulnerable
And I'm
feeling.
like, oh, so you shared them. We met Tuesday. You shared them Wednesday. And now here it is Tuesday. And we have to
Unfuck.
unfuck the last 6 days of sharing in vulnerability and uncomfortability. But I think this is something.
My engine light came on and my tire flew off, but I just kept
It's
driving because I knew I
fine.
was coming here on
It's
Tuesday.
fine. Right. I went to the shop. No,
the
it's like
time.
I talked to my dad and he said, you can't drive this home. I wouldn't recommend it. And then they drove it home and then they just sat it on the side of on the road for a week until they called their dad or called the shop and they're like, so.
It's fine.
That's something I would do.
My wheel flew off.
So thanking them. I had to thank somebody today because they shared something real kind of serious with me today. I was like, hey, thanks for sharing that. You didn't, I mean, she was like, I got to get it out. You know
Yeah,
what
she
I
didn't
mean?
know you shit.
No.
Right.
You know.
And I guess that's the thing.
Well, and gratitude in our
here.
relationships
Yeah.
is huge. Like, there's not enough of treating people for the expectations that we want to have for them.
Mm-hmm.
So talking to people in the way of the behavior we want to see from them rather than what they're not doing.
Right.
Right? So if you talk to people in a way that sets expectations rather than disappointments, then you're going to have a much
Absolutely.
better, healthier relationship.
And I think a large part of this, and I have had to pause and like watch my wording in session because I'm like, sharing your sexual vulnerabilities or desires or fantasies should not come with like a secondary expectation for your partner to fill them.
Absolutely.
That's not the point,
Mm-hmm.
actually. Your point should be minimally, these are things that arouse me and could be beneficial to me that I feel comfortable sharing with you.
I want you to know me better.
I want you to know me better. And ideally, there's something that maybe they're comfortable doing towards that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's ideal. Like, just being vulnerable and having your partner say, I hear you.
Let me think
That
on
makes sense to me. Let me think on that and see what I'm comfortable with. And maybe I can take a step towards that.
Or the complete opposite, where they just embarrass you in front of all your friends and family.
That's not
That's
ideal.
why we start with the appointment. Like,
Right.
when can you? And then that tells you too.
Usually it
That
starts
gives you
with
some information
like,
too of like,
sexual
this is not a safe
dissatisfaction.
relationship. Yeah.
Like, I have needs, and I usually do a Likert scale of like, how satisfied are you in your marriage? How satisfied have you been? How satisfied sexually are you? How committed relationally are you? How satisfied have you been in your lifetime sexually?
Yeah.
Like, if you've only ever been a 6
Probably
and
gonna
now
stay
you're a
around
4,
there.
I'm like, there might be some like other stuff that either you don't know yourself well enough to know what.
Or you don't know what a 10 is.
Yeah, you've never been with a 10, or you don't feel comfortable
Or-
explaining what would get you to a 10,
Or a 10 is your emotional porn
yeah,
that you're not going
You're
to
not
be able to
getting,
reach.
right, yeah.
That's not realistic.
yeah.
With the
Whoa.
right amount of money, you can accomplish anything. Let's be honest.
Which most of us do not have.
All right, we're going to
So
talk about
not
one
realistic.
weirdo thing.
Oh my God,
Pick one.
I want to talk about balloons.
No, come
Stop
on.
it.
We all
That's what
heard
I just
balloon
had. Yeah, I
people.
just told you.
You did?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a balloon one.
Says, look at that sexy balloon. I can't read this
They
out
have
loud.
full websites. Yes.
It's a
They have
quote.
communities. They have communities for
Oh my
everything.
God. All right.
So
Look at
there's
that sexy
different-
balloon. So ripe. So full to busting. God, I can't. Or God, I just want to pop it.
Popping it is part of the thing, though, right? You have to decide, is the person okay with popping or is the person not okay with popping? Sometimes the popping is part of it, but sometimes the popping is not okay.
Mindy,
I'm not going to
I have to finish this next part.
Okay, sorry.
If that turned you on at all, reading this. It did not. It did not. It made me extremely uncomfortable. No offense.
The sound,
I just didn't know
the
this was a
thought-
thing.
The thought of a balloon busting constantly around me
Busting. You get that's an extra word.
makes me want to. Oh.
If that turned you on at all, you might have a balloon fetish. It's so-called lunars. Lunars.
Like balloon.
Okay.
Lunars. Yeah.
Lunars find balloons and the popping thereof deeply arousing. This is a pretty unconventional fetish, gives a whole new meaning to the term rubber and latex in a sex context that thankfully is pretty much totally harmless.
There's a certain YouTuber, but that's what her stuff is. It's
What?
YouTuber.
She does what on YouTube?
Lunar
It's the
stuff.
balloon. Yeah, it's lunar stuff.
What is lunar stuff? That's what I need to
Balloon
understand.
fetish
Like,
stuff.
so
So she'll have balloons and she'll be like lubing them or rubbing on them or right? Like it's
different shapes and sizes. Because in my
Textures,
head,
thickness.
I automatically go to like long, skinny balloon animals for sexual reasons. I just like the shape makes more sense.
To you,
That's not the case.
I wouldn't know.
It's more the
big,
texture.
voluptuous ones.
It doesn't necessarily, but it's
What's the popping about?
I probably would assume that rib balloons, probably, Justin.
absolutely.
I would probably say it would be the surprise of it, not knowing when it's coming.
Oh,
It's the excitement of not knowing,
No,
Or
no.
does it equate to like a climax?
or is it the destruction of it?
No, it's from my understanding.
Right. From
Good
your
buffer.
people.
Thank you.
That's cute.
Is that it's
You can find her at the Shriner Circus, and she does kids parties, balloon animals. Just
No.
curious.
Sex Dr.
a
Mindy.
side job.
Yeah.
No, it's the text. It usually stems from childhood,
Mm-hmm.
right? With balloons and things like that. So it's the idea of, because again, some people don't like the popping of it. The popping is a no-no for it. And
Oh.
some people, it is
It's the issue.
popping
Right,
of
yeah.
it, right? So it is,
I'm reading other ones. Go ahead.
So yeah, for some people it is the texture of it. Some people it's the sound of it. For some people it's all kinds of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yes, and so the popping is the toy.
Like the Jack in the Box.
That's exactly what I was
Yeah,
envisioning.
right,
The
yeah.
surprise
So-
that you
When's it
don't know
going to
when it's
happen?
coming.
Right.
Like you
It
keep
can
blowing
be.
it up.
How far can I go before it pops?
It's the sexual, the tension
The build up.
Mm-hmm.
That balloon edging.
For that, yeah.
All right, go ahead, Laffer. What's next? Then we got to wrap it up.
The love of trees.
Get the fuck. That's the
Then
one you picked.
I said right, like I said, the Christmas trees thing, right? Like, because dendrophilia.
Dendrophilia literally means love of trees. Happy holidays. And while many people
He's
do
like this because
love,
I knew the word. I said it with you, and he's like, damn.
and while many people do love trees, most people just don't think of them in that way.
Totally different thing for tree hugger.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're a dendrophile. Dendrophile?
Dendrophile.
Mm-hmm. In which case, perhaps you
Because these are
find
philias,
there. I
right?
can't
These are
stop.
paraphilias. So
I'm going to
everything's a
need
file.
you to listen to the rest of this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's fine. In which case, perhaps you find their thick, muscular trunks to be arousing, their willowing branches to be enticing, and you might want to rub yourself against one. It's a little
splintery.
a little graphic for me. Like, I appreciate the understanding and the
There's your
imagery of
fantasy.
like, okay, so like that's what this is.
Is that the weirdest one?
But I have a hard time. I just scrolled through. That's literally number 5. My brain goes to, and guys, bear with me, in elementary school. Okay.
Nice.
In elementary school.
Love it already.
We had to go, there was like a valley. It's now a dog park where I grew up. Like they took out all the trees and they put up fences and it's a dog park.
Did you guys ruin all the trees?
No, there was a creek
I bet there
Couldn't
was.
stop seeing it.
and there was a whole bunch of trees that were like, let's say 20 feet apart, right? A grid of trees. We had to, in kindergarten, go outside and adopt a tree and like once a week, once a month, I don't know, go out and like read to our tree, hug our tree, draw for our tree from kindergarten till 5th grade.
I want to know who this teacher was.
And now, well, it was a school
thing.
It was
If
a
it
whole
was-
school
Oh, there was one person that implemented this plan.
that pushed
This
the
would be a
agenda.
good idea.
I could still, I don't know if my tree's there anymore, but it was the biggest one I could find.
I bet it was.
Size does matter for all
It
of
was
you.
almost like a double tree.
Size does matter.
It does,
Whoever
does
tell you it doesn't
matter.
is lying. It's not the only thing that matters.
it's a contributing factor.
Mm-hmm.
But like that, as soon as I read this, that's why I giggled. I was like, oh my God, I had to pick my favorite tree in kindergarten. You guys are sick. This is what it was like.
That could be where it came from.
I don't have a thing for trees.
Really? My house has to be perfect before I bring it in my house.
And I walk for miles.
You can
Miles.
to
Miles.
find the right
My kids
one.
hate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear more about her tree fetish, call.
2, 3, 4.
I think we just uncovered something for
Oh
Kelly.
my God.
Like and subscribe. Send any kind of tree saplings to Kelly at treefucker.com.
We've had so many conversations about this in my house. I think we had this conversation on here last year.
About what?
Season 1.
We weren't here
About you and
right
trees?
after Christmas.
Are you sure?
100%. We were in February. Guarantee it.
About my,
Tree
I was
fetish?
going to say anal.
Trees and anal.
They do look like.
Like and subscribe.
Just the right
Just
shape.
saying.
And text us if you want Dr. Mindy back. She's fantastic.
Everybody's like,
Send their pictures of the best tree in your
The
yard.
best tree.
Jeez.
I do love a good tree.
So
I just
listen,
am not aroused.
Mindy,
by
can you
it.
come back next week and we continue our Christmas sexual
'Tis
celebration?
the season 2.
So,
orgasms.
right. Get your stocking stuffed.
Stuff it.
I have so many holiday shirts.
I know we talked a lot about
I almost wore my
distrust
holiday glasses.
and things today.
Mm-hmm.
If you are wanting to talk to your partner about something, I can imagine it's extremely vulnerable to talk to them about something like that, and especially if you live with them or anything like that, because you have a lot riding on that.
Mm-hmm.
So be gentle with it. If somebody's bringing something to you, please be gentle with them.
Unless they like it
Is
rough.
that nice?
It is nice. I just keep.
What's
Glancing.
next? What's the other one? Just throw it out. Come on. This list is too good.
Formicophilia?
Sounds like a girl I went to school with.
Tentacle porn.
I was going to say, I don't think I know this one.
Tentacle porn.
I have
Okay.
a client on my case list that
Uh-huh.
actually
Yeah.
is into tentacle
Yeah,
porn.
I've heard of it.
Cephalopods?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's another one?
You're making me read the things that I said I don't want to read.
I know. This is my...
Kelly, you're back
This is
in
my
Issues
cake.
in Sexuality Day 1.
I know. I loved issues
I
in sexuality.
still do that with my clients, or with my students first day.
Brutal.
See. Oh, nesophilia.
Hold on.
Ha-ha.
Look, she's
Yes.
thinking what it is.
Nesophilia. Nasophilia?
Oh, space? wouldn't be.
N-A-S-O. Philia.
Nasophilia.
We love NASCAR.
Mm-mm.
No.
It sure does.
Michael.
Nasophilia.
You want
Nasophilia.
Nasophilia.
Michael.
The human nose, beyond its capacity for smelling certain scents, doesn't play a huge role in sex for most people.
It's penetration.
Unless you're a nasophilia. Nasophile.
Nasophile.
Nasophile. There we go.
Nasophile.
Nasophile. Then you might hanker.
Hanker.
I got a hankering.
That's a southern word.
There you go.
Or act on sucking on your person's nose
Like
if
a
you're
baby.
trying to.
Wow.
And
Oh,
if
you can
you're
fuck a
trying
tree, but
to
if you touch a nose, you
suck,
freak out.
listen, if you're trying to suck the snot out,
Jesus Christ.
you might be a mucophile.
Mucophile, yep.
Or someone
that's not.
who's aroused by mucus.
Mucus.
That's where we have to end.
That one
here
I
We're done with
today.
that.
That one I
We're
knew.
done.
All right, you
I
tree
love you
fucker.
guys. I just can't talk about it on
I love
here.
that Mike knew exactly what that was. It's not normal. I like it.
Well, nasal, right? Nasal.
Nasal. Well, that's why you spelled it.
Mike went to
N-A-S-O.
pre-med school.
Like, what's that?
Yeah, I didn't go there. I should have.
All right,
That's
everybody,
easy.
have a wonderful day. Be kind to each other. Don't be shitheads. If somebody's sharing something with you, just talk them out. Like,
Unless
figure it out.
shit is another one. So.
Yeah, and some people are
Shit.
into that. Oh, yeah, uh-oh.
We can have
You-
a whole
Fecophile. No,
another
Coprophilia. That's
sleeping
feces.
sex.
Oof. What is it?
Sleeping sex. Voyeurism. We've talked about that. Zoophilia.
zoophilia. Animals.
No.
Is that just the proper term for like bestiality?
Mhm.
I'm from West Virginia, and I'm still saying no.
Me too.
Fair.
Europhilia.
Urine. Golden showers.
Says pee fetish, Europhilia, water sports.
Water sports.
Stop it.
I told you.
Have you never heard it called water sports?
No.
What?
Oh, I
No. Water sports. Stop it. I have a client right
That's what
now.
it's always been called.
Absolutely not. I have a couple client right now. They explained this to me, but not on purpose, but that this was like a barrier for their sex life. And I was like, okay, so you have to put like towels down, and they were like trash bags. And I was like, oh, makes sense. And they're like, no, it's a problem. Yeah, good for her.
What if you pee on trees?
Well,
I feel like that. But there's like infant.
well, that goes with like squirting too, right? Like because
Yeah, I think that's what it is, but it's attached to like humiliation and like embarrassment because it's involuntary.
involuntary.
Or like
Yeah.
And not
There's that spot, and
not
if you
the
hit that,
ending
yeah.
either. So it's frustrating. Okay.
Are you really? Look,
I really am done. I'm gonna stop.
you can't.
I'm gonna
Are you
stop
really
scrolling.
gonna?
I am. Happy
Stop.
holidays, guys. This
the
is
guys
one
in the back are gonna be
of
like, she's not ever coming back.
who? Me? You?
You
Mindy
have
will
to.
always come back, Dr. Mindy.
Yeah, we got to do more. You guys have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.